Hey, what's up, guys? So I'm doing this presentation. Um, okay, good. So I'm doing this presentation. I'm going to do 2 days from now. I'm presenting to a bunch of paramedics, topics dealing with trauma. Now, one thing I like about doing presentation, it helps me master the material that much better. So even if, first of all, you shouldn't be doing any type of presentation unless you know what you're talking about. But sometimes you forget little nuances here and there. So what I like about doing presentation, it reminds me of the things I may have forgotten or things I may not have mastered. Because guess what? When I do my presentation, I'm going to have to predict what questions they're going to ask so I can answer those questions. Okay. So I can deal with those situations. So that when someone says, "Hey, Will, what about?" or "Dr. Perry, what about this and this?" I can answer that because who's going to listen to me if I don't know what I'm talking about? So that's one thing I love about presentation. It helps you master what you already should have mastered before because that's the reason you're giving the presentation. It also helps you with your speaking skills. I just find that if you want to be successful in life, you're going to have to present your ideas to a group of people at some point. If you're trying to be an entrepreneur, you want people to buy your product or use your product, guess what? At some point, it's going to be worth it for you to get into a room full of people and present your ideas. Now, no one wants to listen to somebody who's like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about any group of people. I'm not making fun of people who have speech impediments. That's totally different. But no one wants to listen to somebody who says a lot of ums and what, and you know what I mean, you know what I mean, yeah, and someone who talks very slow and not fluently. People think quickly. So whenever you do a presentation, I'm not saying you want to go super quick. Don't talk super quick, but don't talk super slow. You're going to lose people. People want to know that when you're doing a presentation, that you know what you're talking about. So one thing I like about a presentation, it helps you with your language because it helps you speak from the chest instead of sounding like sounding like you're not confident. It helps you with your language skill. Even if you're foreign, even if English is your second language, you still will hold on to more listeners if you show that you mastered the language to a certain degree. We understand you're not going to be perfect, but it's a certain range of master of the human language for which you'll lose native speakers. Don't get me wrong, I'm trying to learn another language myself. And believe me, I'm not going to be doing any presentations in that language until I've mastered it, which may be never. So I'm going to stay within my lane. Also, it sucks when you're a native speaker of English and then you're using like words way out of the grammatical text or how you should use words. That you lose credibility that way. There are some mistakes that people make that everyone makes, and no one's going to hold you to the fire. But there are some mistakes when you hear people saying, you're like, you just lost me there. So one thing I like about doing a presentation, it helps with my language, my presentation skill, my speaking skills, because people really do judge you by how you speak. I'm not going to use this bad example because I'm not going to go into detail about this example. But there are certain people who have certain jobs who bullshit, but because they master, because they sound intelligent, they're able to convince people they're right. Now, this particular person, I know this person is full of. So this person can't pull something, but can't pull anything by me. But one thing I noticed about this person is what they're saying is full of, but because they sound like they know what they're talking about, because of the way they are with the English language, I've seen this person sell very well. So that's what I mean. Now, what I would like for you to do is take my points one and two and combine those greatly. What I mean by that is take my point number one and actually have the knowledge, and have the knowledge and then learn to present that very fluently. Because there are going to be people where if you can speak very fluently, you're using, big vocabulary words, complex sentences, putting everything nicely together. But if someone in the audience still knows, you know what, that doesn't even make sense, you're losing that person. And there are people out there who, are going to get turned off by the fact that, you know what you're talking about, but you're talking way too slow. You're stuttering, you're stepping over yourself. So that's one thing I like about the English, about doing presentations. And don't get me wrong, I'm nowhere near mastered it. Sometimes I think I speak too quickly if I'm tired. Sometimes I think I speak too slowly. If I'm not paying attention, I do a lot of, So I have not mastered it myself. Another thing I like about doing presentations is that when you've, like, I already hinted on this before, but in whatever business you're in, you can really increase your income potential by being able to do effective presentations. What do I mean by effective presentation? What I mean by that is that you need to put your ideas out there in front of a large group of people. If you're trying to sell a product, why not sell it to 100 people or 1,000 people? Why not make a YouTube video like what I do and put that product out there to the masses? So if you're good at doing presentations, holding people's attention, you can multiply your customer base and i.e. multiply your profit margin by doing presentations to people. If you're nervous speaking around people, you're only going to go but so far unless you made enough money to have somebody present for you. But again, that still points to the fact that it's very difficult for you to step into that next area of success without being able to speak to a large group of people, put your idea out there. You know, you can have an idea and keep it to yourself, but you're not going to be successful. So one thing that I do wrong, I keep looking off in this space only because I have so much in my brain. So I need to focus on that. Plus, it's weird talking to a phone because it looks like I'm looking at you right now because I'm looking into my phone. But when I'm looking at myself, it looks like I'm not looking at you, which I'm not. I'm looking at myself. So, so the point of this Doc Beast Daily is, you know, practice doing presentations. If you have a hair salon, practice on presenting your ideas to a group of people so you can get more customers. If you have a fitness, if you have a CrossFit gym, if you have a Beachbody business like myself, it only helps to be able to do presentation when you go out to like fairs or advertisements or you're trying to find new employees. My arm is hurting me. My arm is tired. So just practice doing presentation. It really will step up your game. Plus, it's nice to be able to know that you can present something clearly to a group of people. Now, you're not going to get it perfect. I've been doing presentations because of what I do, because of what I majored in college. I've been doing presentations for years, and I still haven't mastered it. I've gotten a lot better than when I first started presenting in front of the classroom in elementary school and high school. I've gotten a lot, tons better, but I still have a long way to go. I'm nowhere near perfect. I could give you guys some pointers about how to do effective presentations, things you can put in your slides and things like that. So we'll talk about that at some other time. Again, is another thing you want to work on when you're doing presentations. That turns a lot of people off. It gets to the point that there are some people who say so many times, I actually start counting them. And that distracts from your presentation. Now, you got a guy like me out there counting how many times you said, you didn't get your message across. So guess what? Whatever you're trying to sell, whatever you're trying to convince me to do, you already lost one customer me because you said, So, but there's different ways. When I present material to you guys on Doc Beast Daily, I'm not the only way. For instance, some people use a lot of humor in their presentation. Some people use a lot of special effects in their presentation. Some people start their presentation by telling a funny story in the beginning, like Joel Osteen. Some people have everyone do something physical, like Tony Robbins. So there's multiple ways to do it. What you have to do is research the ways, find a way that connects with you, make it your own. Try not to be like somebody else. Research what's out there, research what's effective, and then make a system or a way of doing it that's your own. And then run with that. There are some people who are good presenters because they're real. There are some people who are a little bit too real for a certain audience. But there are some people who are okay with that because they only want to target a certain audience. There are some people who present in such a way where they're trying to target an audience, but maybe a little bit larger audience. So there's multiple ways to skin a cat. But I honestly think you will enrich your life, your business, and actually meet more people and, help more people once you know how to present. All right? Peace out.